Nikki, Philips and Siemens both reported earnings today. They're very different companies, they make different things, but they're both restructuring stories. So first of all, how are they getting on with that restructuring?
Well, as you say, they are very different companies, but they both seem to have been restructuring forever. Philips, in the past 3 years, really since 2011, has managed to do the latest bout of restructuring really rather successfully. It's taken about €1 billion out of overhead costs, and it's shed thousands of employees, and all of that is paying off quite nicely. I think it's been a difficult process, but a relatively smooth one. Siemens has been a much bumpier story, and it's been restructuring for a very, very long time in different guises. But it obviously failed to meet its targets last year. That saw boardroom changes, a new chief executive, and really poor results last year. And so with Siemens, I think the current restructuring story, the sort of plans from here on, is still very much a work in progress.
Okay, a rocky road for one, if not for the other. But what do their businesses at the moment tell us about the economies in which they operate, particularly Europe?
Sluggish, difficult, almost across the board. I mean, neither have done badly in emerging markets, growth economies, whatever you call them. I mean, those are still looking relatively good. Philips has a big healthcare business, making healthcare equipment mainly, sort of, but that has been hit both by healthcare budgets in Europe and with the upheavals with the healthcare reforms in the US. And saw orders slip. Now, curiously enough, Siemens, which also has a similar type of healthcare business, has done rather better there, but it's seen quite strong orders generally, particularly in its somewhat diverse infrastructure and cities division, and on the wind front. But I mean, there are still big bits of the business, orders-wise, for Siemens that are even they're not good. Okay,
now how are these two companies being valued alongside each other?
Well, this is strange. They actually sit, the shares, the total return on the shares of both has been absolutely identical over the past year. I mean, really almost to a complete percentage point. And they're both sitting on similar forward multiples, which really seems to be a question of the market looking at one and saying, look, here's a company which has delivered, is beginning to have a track record despite its past history, but which may have a slower, not bad, but a slightly slower rate of growth in the next couple of years. And there on the other is a larger, much larger company, which has had its upsets very recently, but which perhaps holds more promise. So it's a sort of, if you're an investor, you sort of pays your money and you takes your choice.
Well, gas turbines versus noodle makers, we'll have to see if they deserve equal bidding. Thank you, Nikki.